Have you ever stopped to think about what happens when two warriors born to destroy each other meet for the very first time and neither one is willing to give an inch? Put yourself in that moment for a second. Imagine growing up knowing you were born to be the best, that your blood, your race, your entire existence justifies that superiority. Now, imagine arriving on a planet you came to destroy and finding someone who simply doesn't care about any of that. That's the encounter that changed everything in Dragon Ball Z. When Vegeta arrives on Earth, he doesn't come to make friends. He's the prince of all Saiyans, an elite warrior shaped by battle since childhood, carrying a pride as heavy as the gravity he trained under. And on the other side, Goku, a low-class Saiyan who, by every standard of his race, was supposed to be nothing. But then, the fight begins, and what Vegeta slowly starts to discover is something he never expected to feel. Resistance. Not the technical resistance of a well-trained opponent, but that deeply uncomfortable feeling of realizing the guy in front of him simply won't go down. Goku gets hit, gets up, gets hit again, gets up again, not out of stubborn foolishness, but because there's something inside him that is bigger than pain. And then that moment arrives. Vegeta squeezes the scouter in his hand and feels it exploding between his fingers. His voice comes out torn, almost unbelievable even to himself. "It's over 9,000. That line became a meme, became pop culture, became a reference in places that have nothing to do with anime. But what it truly represents goes so much deeper than a high number on a scanner. It represents the collapse of a certainty. Vegeta spent his entire life believing in a hierarchy, that power was something measurable, predictable, controllable, that a low-class Saiyan had a ceiling and an elite warrior had another. And in 3 seconds, that entire belief splits right down the middle. Because Goku didn't become strong by following the rules of his race. He became strong because he found reasons to protect, people to love, and never stopped growing, even when everyone had already given up on him. This battle isn't just about hitting each other. It's about two completely different kinds of strength colliding. The strength that comes from pride, from the desperate need to prove something to the world, and the strength that comes from within. Quiet, almost innocent, that simply has no ceiling because it carries none of the weight of vanity. And the most fascinating part? Neither of them wins outright. Goku nearly dies. Vegeta retreats completely destroyed. It's a draw in the body, but a total defeat in the prince's soul. Because he walks away knowing something that will haunt every training session, every battle, every silent moment for the rest of the story. That third-class Saiyan he came to destroy was his equal, maybe even more. And maybe that's exactly why their rivalry never died. Because Vegeta can't ignore Goku. Not because he's the enemy, but because Goku is the mirror that shows everything Vegeta could have been if he hadn't let pride occupy the space that was meant for the soul. So, here's the question. If you had the chance to face the version of yourself that was never afraid to grow, what would you see looking back at you in that mirror?